Hey guys, Gaius here. With this video, we're finally over the hump. Mobile Suit Gundam Walpurgis Volume 6. In the last volume, we had a couple of big fights, and now even bigger problems. Upon arriving at the ruins of Side 5, the heroes on board of the Yulong are pursued by Raymond and a PMC crew of mercenaries he's hired to chase them down. As the Over.ON gets into a heated duel with the Grimoire of Blue, the Double Zeta Fafnir, Masahiro and the Fafnir's pilot, Elise, manage to reach a brief moment of understanding as the two of them achieve a new type resonance with each other. Masahiro manages to defeat the Fafnir in the end, and the crew of the Yulong captures her. However, as the heroes reach a moment of peace, a darkness overcomes Masahiro. Mashero, the strange split persona of Masahiro, hijacks his own body, attacking the Yulong's crew and breaking out of the ship and escaping into deep space. Fain Amadeo managing to catch him, only for the Over.ON to reveal another one of its hidden tricks. Encountering a strange new version of Paptimus Scirocco's original mobile weapon, the so-called Masala Glashtin, the mysterious mobile armor and the Over.ON combine, revealing a new set of weapons for the Over.ON to use, the machine ready to pry Fain's Zeta off from its body, the Zeta being paralyzed and powerless to stop what is about to come. Now, let's move into the second half of Gundam Walpurgis, with Volume 6. All images and characters are owned with their respective companies and creators. The biosensor of the Over.ON resonates with the Glashtin. What? They've combined? The pulsing amethyst aura of their merging forms glows with a sickly haze, the large Masala-style arms reaching down the Zeta-2's legs, gripping the giant boosters, ready to rip them off. But just before they can, Fain hits the thrusters, the retro rockets firing and sending the two Gundams hurtling through the debris field. Chunks of colony debris smash against the Over.ON's new binders. You fool! But that gear won't last against the Glashtin! Until I get back, I'm giving you everything I've got! Debris continues to pummel the two of them. Stop this thing! I don't want to have to kill you! Go back to your mothership! Don't make me do this! Fain smirks. Selfish! Selfish! That's my line! Surrender, or else there'll be hell to pay! The two fly towards a huge support beam, Fain ready to skewer the Gundam in hopes of stopping Mashero. But just as they hit it, and Fain thinks he's done Mashero in, he sees the Glashtin's arms reach around, grabbing the debris and causing the Zeta to crash into the Over.ON with a sudden jerk to its body from the collision. The smashing strike breaking the Zeta's arms and sending it spiraling away from the Over.ON. You will not stop the Over.ON, and you won't stop me! No, not yet! He tries to charge in. No weapons, busted boosters, nothing to fight against the Glashtin. Are you serious? What do you expect to do with a busted machine like that? Is this what you want? To die a dog's death without a second chance? But Fain finally gets it. You're the one here without a second chance. You're nothing but a ghost, Mashero. The show doesn't have to end like this. Come back, Masahiro. But Masahiro doesn't say a word. Only Mashero responds. He sneers. A shame. I would have liked not to do this to you. The Zeta Gundam charges in, a hand reaching out as if he were reaching out to Masahiro himself, who is now gone. The Over.ON deploys all of its blades as it charges in kind. Fain, the past. We see moments that led him to this point, a long time ago. Fain once fought for the AUG. He was even present with Inardo at the battle to prevent the Axis asteroid from falling onto the moon after Operation Maelstrom. Inardo once asked him before a sortie what he plans to do after the conflict. Inardo, though, seeing the side of the AUG as no longer coalescing with his values, a sentiment that we'd see evolve into his choice to fight for Neo Zeon later in his life. We turn to the final battle of Grips 2, and we see that, at one point, Lent, Fain, and Inardo all had a relatively good friendship with each other, Lent being the cocky, rambunctious one of the team, Inardo being the cold, silent type, and Fain being the one in the middle, who just wanted to follow orders. As the colony laser fired that day, and the flaming path of destruction was left in the wake of its usage, we find out that Fain just barely made it out of its firing line, his Nemo being nearly destroyed by the energy that took out the Titan's fleet. But as he asked Inardo to bring him back to their mothership, Inardo refused. He turned his back to Fain in the end, leaving him adrift in a disabled mobile suit to float across the darkness of space until he was found. The man telling Fain that he's done with the AUG. He's joining Haman. What? Have you lost your mind? No. I'm fighting for the Space Noids, what the AUG set out to do in the first place. But now, they choose to side with the Federation, the very thing that opposes their goals. Think about it. Even Shar Aznable is leading us, and this is what happens to us in the end. The Titans were arrogant. The AUG united to defeat them. That was our purpose. The Federation saw the changing times. Zeon had too. And then you had the worst people of all. Opportunists, like his father, the Commodore Kristoff. I'm sorry, Fain. I have to go. He flies away, Fain telling his best friend not to leave, this memory fueling the emotions he feels now as he fights the Over.ON. I'm not letting you go! And with that genuine belief on display, the Zeta 2, despite being fully paralyzed by the Over.ON's grimoire, it reaches out to the Over.ON, its arms sparking from the strain to its joints, a beam saber scorching the Zeta's legs off as the Over.ON grabs hold. It's over, Thane! Not yet! It's over! Don't go! A spark, a new type flash, something we haven't really ever seen Thane ever do. It electrically induces a link between him and the two Gundams. Deep inside Masahiro's mind, a ripple is sent down to the chains that shackle the boy inside the prison of Mashero's dark psyche. No! Stop this! Stop this, Over.ON! He fights against his bindings. Stop it! The Glashtin breaks one of the boosters, the massive arm gripping the machine's engines and holding it aloft as the booster still fires. Mashero! The Zeta still reaching out. Over on the Sodalon, Fiorina's talisman resonates to the battle beyond. But as she witnesses the visions of Thane and Masahiro, wishing there would be some way she could stop this, she's halted in her tracks by the spirit of Mashero. Your time is up. She feels his hand psychically grabbing hold of her, causing her to jerk back and fall. What was that? Was that the Over.ON? She then feels it. Her talisman. It's stopped. She can't feel the Over.ON. She's no longer linked to it. No. If that's the case, then the prophecy won't be fulfilled. She makes a psychic call, one directed to the only other voice that might be able to aid her. The pilot of the Glashtin, the pilot of the mobile armor itself. Deep inside his mind, Masahiro is met by Mashero, the young man now glad to see he doesn't have to worry about outside interference. Now, are you going to try and listen to me now? Who are you? You don't know. Shamal, I'm you. The real you. What is this? Why do you have my face? No, it is you who are the problem. You, Masahiro, are the false persona that was created to mask who I truly am. This body, this mind, it doesn't belong to you. If anything, it belongs to Scirocco, and you're going to give it to me. A ghostly black smog fills his lungs, choking him, trying to strangle his thoughts. The Over.ON's eyes glow with a furious psychic darkness. Fain sees it as the Gundam raises its beam rifle to him, and as he pulls the trigger, the Zeta 2 is destroyed. Fain vanishing into the sea of blackness as the beam vaporizes the machine, leaving behind only pieces and sections of its booster and wings as the debris floats through the darkness. The bridge receives the IFF signal as the light disappears. Fain, he's gone. The well-cast ship also gets the signal, Raymond giving the order to send out their gems to see if there's anything they can recover. As the Over.ON floats amidst the Zeta's remains, the machine flies off, grabbing the Glashtin's cockpit module, attached to its mega beam launcher. Still flying out into the void, after it detaches its boosters, its target is the Wellcast. The ship opens its hangars. The ship recovers the readings of the AGX-11. It's coming this way! Quick, launch our gym teams to intercept! The modified booster gyms launching from the catapults and firing beams to try and stop the Gundam from getting in too close. However, there's one thing they don't know. Mashero doesn't care about damaging them. These mercenaries are what he needs for the next stages of his own plan. He doesn't care if he has to sink their mothership. They will serve him. He hits a GM's beam rifle. The others retaliate. Come on! Hit it! But there's nothing they can do. In seconds, the rest of the mercenaries are cut to pieces and their mobile suits are left disabled as the Over.ON continues to blast towards the mothership. He did that so quickly? Quick! Anti-air fire! Shoot it down! Shoot it! I ordered you to capture it! Are you crazy? Do you want us to get killed? What are you talking about? He's coming right for us! His throne! It's right before us! But there's nothing they can really do. It stands just inches from the bridge, the crew stunned and shaking as the Over.ON shield claws draw out their blades. But no blades ignite, simply the claws extending. A contact cable link fires and patches the unit into the ship. It is you, isn't it? Raymond McInnes? No way. It's him. The king, it's him. He's returned. A king, you say? No. I'm just the kind of man who knows history won't change without my guidance. Raymond agrees. Yes, that's the road you must walk. But Mashero retorts. No, that is the road that you walk. This leaves Raymond shaken, but then again, Mashero still asks him for his help, and he needs him to be the one to do it, which only leaves Raymond to kneel before him. It would be my honor. The bridge of the Yulong manages to get to the site of the duel between the two Gundams. Fain is nowhere to be found. They found pieces of the machine, but no escape pod can be found, nor even a rescue signal can be detected with the Minovsky particle density being so high. Federica looks at the remains of the mobile suit, its chest blown open and scorched, the torso missing all of its limbs. A series of alarms. The crew shouts out something, but it's muffled. With Federica so distraught, she can't even make out the words that they're saying. Why can't I hear them? What should I do? She's reminded of a traumatic memory from when she was a kid. As a girl, Federica lived on a massive farm estate. However, one day, she got herself locked inside the family barn, the girl crying as she banged on the locked doors with no one coming to help her, herself trying to get someone to get her out. What she feels is just as she felt then, not knowing what she can do to get out of the situation. The only reason she was able to escape is because her brother Inardo was there to get her out, the memory only making her fall deeper into despair. The well-cast's hangar doors seal, the mercenary crew of the warship watching as Mashero takes his first steps into the cruiser. The captain is surprised. A kid was piloting that thing? What's going on? All of the crew are confused and worried about it, none of them understanding what's going on. However, Raymond tells them all to be silent. They're in the presence of their messiah. He welcomes Mashero to the ship. He's honored by his presence. He's known Tonio Mannheim for years, and he's thrilled to meet the legendary heir to Paptimus. However, to his surprise, Mashero just ignores him. He heads straight for the Glashton, right to its cockpit. I think it's finally time you revealed yourself, pilot of the Glashton. The hatch opens on the machine, a woman standing near the entrance, the pilot removing her helmet. It's her, the elder twin sister of Fiorina, Concetta Fili. Her hair is greener than Fi's, and she's slightly taller. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mashero Okusu. Raymond is dumbfounded. Who the hell is that? She looks just like that talisman girl. Mashero explains to him that this is the girl's sister. The two of them are both cyber newtype products of the Storm Garden. He then asks Concetta why it is that she called him Mashero. However, the girl quickly corrects herself, calling her Master Paptimus. Good, Mashero says to her. The clan's goal was to revive Scirocco after all. However, he then laments the fact that Tonio Mannheim's attempts at defecting to Anaheim were unexpected. As a result, the Over.ON was completed by outside hands. Nonetheless, it's fallen unto him to use it. However, we must be rid of the chaos the AUG has created in the wake of my death. This prolonged suffering. He then iterates the true goal of Mashero, the goal of Scirocco. Peace, permanent stability for the entire Earth sphere, and he wants her to be the one to help him. He leaves the hangar, leaving Concetta stunned. Something about him, about this Mashero, is wrong, even to her. The current state he's in is not what she's after. The Yulong. Everyone doesn't know what to do. They haven't even been given orders to see if they can retrieve the remains of the Zeta. On the bridge, Federica is still frozen, unable to make a decision. The chief tries messaging her. He tells her over the earpiece that it's okay. Fain's a soldier. This kind of thing is what he signed up for. Were you just not prepared for it? She's filled with grief, guilt, pain. The chief reminds her that he was an ace. Even more so, he could still be alive out there. They just haven't found him. Nonetheless, he wouldn't want to be left as baggage for her to hold on to. As she dwells, she thinks of what he told her just before he left, Fain saying to trust him, to leave everything to him. If he doesn't, it'll just make them both look bad. Before she can call out to him, her cries finally leave her with the ability to finally hear the commotion surrounding her on the bridge. The crew find a signal. They have the potential trajectory for what might have been his escape pod. If they change their heading, they might find him. However, understanding that they still can't let the Over.ON escape, Federica orders the Yulong to turn around and attack. Target that mercenary ship! They'll track that ship down before it gets away and sink that blasted ship and destroy the Gundam once and for all. The crew is surprised. Seriously? We just lost the Zeta! Our fighting capabilities are greatly diminished. There's no chance we could complete this mission. Federica is fully aware of this fact, though. However, they just can't lose them. If they disappear, then this mission ends for good. One of them understands, but asks how they're going to contact their allies. The debris cluster is too dense. However, Federica says that she'll take care of it. Just please make sure the line is connected to her office. She leaves. The crew left to wonder what it is going to happen to Fain. Nonetheless, the helmsman orders the ship to adjust its heading. Keep pursuing that cruiser. Don't lose sight of it. With Federica in the hall, she finally breaks down and cries, knowing that Fain might still be alive, but as her duty as the captain dictates, she has to see the mission succeed above all else. She cries to herself as she's so sorry she won't be able to go get him. The Storm Garden, Ambrosia. The Wellcast approaches a massive spherical asteroid that floats amongst the debris. It's huge, the size of something as big as Musa. Heimel asks Raymond about it. This is Ambrosia? It doesn't really look like anything. Nonetheless, Raymond tells her to remain quiet. They are simply observers. They don't have the right to question it. Let's see what their majesty shall do with it. But as the Over.ON floats above the massive rock, Mashero reveals his intentions, the secretive objective that he has been programmed to uphold. The time has come. The time for me to use this thing. Activate Project Orpheus! The crew on the bridge of the Wellcast are confused. Orpheus? I thought this thing was Ambrosia. Strangely, even Conchetta is weirded out by the mention. This asteroid, it belongs to the Storm Garden, but she always thought it served as just their mining site, obtaining minerals and resources for their enclave to function. However, she's never been aware of its real nature. Mashero makes a mention of something else, a technology we have never seen before, at least yet. Something called Psychoflare. Raymond is enthralled in the majesty of the idea of it. What is it? What secrets does it hold? What did Scirocco create that was so important to put it out here in the middle of nowhere? And with Mashero inciting its activation, the asteroid begins to unlock. Stone breaks from the asteroid's massive surface, metallic monoliths beginning to break free to rise out from the rock's equator. On the bridge of the Yulong, the team are continuing their surveillance, having a bit of a moment to have a breather. However, it seems the enemy has stopped moving. Federica returns to the bridge, with Elise of all people. The crew caught off guard and startled as she's just walking around and free of her restraints. The girl mocking the crew and doing her usual sultry and flirty behavior around them, thus freaking them out. The helmsman asks Federica what is the meaning of this. She's a prisoner. However, the woman is eager to explain. She requests that they open a direct channel to all sections of the ship, as well as their escort vessel. They do as she asks, and she makes an announcement to the two ships of their fleet. Hello, I am the captain of the ship, Federica Herme. We don't have much time, but I want to explain our plan as of now. Firstly, we are at a significant disadvantage with the loss of both of this ship's Gundams. Thus, I have elected to place Elise Mateba within our force to bolster it. The entire crew of the ship is stunned by these actions. She's an enemy! You want us to fight alongside her? Nonetheless, without Captain Fain to lead, we need more strength if we're going to survive this. Elise is surprised herself, but even if she were piloting something like a Nemo, she'd sure as hell be somewhat effective. However, Federica elaborates on their next move. This is their next objective. Elise Mateba, you are going to go to the enemy ship and steal the Fafnir for us. Are you crazy? Elise is understandably caught off guard by this request, but the crew on the bridge see the plan beginning to form. It's an old pirate's tactic, but it might work. Roxanne on the escort ship, though, is of course highly against this. This isn't the time to be trying to make up for past mistakes. Are you trying to get us killed? However, Federica understands her concerns, but at this moment, considering what they have, this is their only bet. Elise is still concerned, though. They don't have the types of soldiers who can take on fully armed mercenaries. However, the leader of this team comes into the room and puts their minds to ease. Major Jesse, finally out of the medical bay. I have just one question to ask, and I need your answer. Did you plan this mission, thinking it was something doable? And Federica says, almost slightly sarcastically, yes, of course. And with that made clear, they have their mission, and their team. This is the only thing they have. So, let's do this. As the bridge is all in agreement, Roxanne scoffs at Federica. You know your death will be a bad one. But Federica says that she doesn't have plans to die a good one either. The comms link disconnects, Elise telling the woman that she looks like an idiot by saying that. Are you really ready to die after all this? But no response is given. Whatever, it's none of my concern. And thus, the next phase of their plan begins. Back at Orpheus, the asteroid. The captain of the Wellcast watches in shock as the massive asteroid begins to shift and move. The asteroid, it's almost like it's disguising something. Is there something inside of it? This asteroid. Raymond mentioned something about it before. What is it? It does not originate from the Earth sphere. The crew scans it. Despite its shape and its surface, it's not made of real rock. The entire surface is covered in an artificial concrete-like stone. Whatever it is, it's emanating immense amounts of energy inside of it. Heimel wonders if it's possibly some kind of mobile fortress, Raymond not even knowing what it is either. In the back of the room, Conchetta thinks about it. Mashero, Scirocco. He said he couldn't forgive the Ayuk for what they did, but this can't be what I think it is. Inside the cockpit of the Over.ON, Mashero monologues. Listen to me, my universe. Let the stars give birth. The bridge crew detects it. A massive spike of Bonovsky particles emanating from the asteroid's surface. A particle field of unparalleled size is being generated from the asteroid. The entire machine almost behaving like a colossal version of a mobile suit's fusion reactor. Suddenly, the charge builds. It builds up and it fires. A beam of light, one almost akin to a small colony laser. It vaporizes an entire perfect line directly through the heart of the debris field. Everyone can see it. The Wellcast, the Yulong, even the Sodalon as well. What has he done? The time is now. The reasoning of this world. There can be no creation without destruction. A new world will sprout from the corpse of this giant. Yet, humanity has defiled this earth for far too long. There is no going back, nor will I let humanity do so. Conchetta feels a presence. The voice. Mashero. That is our Messiah? No. We cannot let that come to pass. We cannot allow this to go unchecked. She finally gets the call from Fiorina, her sister. Sister? We cannot allow this to go any further. There's only one way we can stop them. We must call upon the Guardian Spear, the only two people who can help us. Their senses and visions guiding them to Federica and Inardo. The Storm Garden. We're finally here. It seems that Haman and the Sodalon have finally arrived at the heart of this place, ahead of everyone else. However, what they've found is that the facility they've located is severely undermanned by the looks of it. Possibly some kind of smaller outpost, maybe? Regardless, using Fiorina as their bargaining chip to get them inside, we finally get a glimpse of what it is this enclave truly was, if it was anything. Fi is told by the researchers that it's finally ready. However, the specs it has, the Titan's researchers are understandably worried about the potential output that the girl actually was asking for. This unit is older than anything they have, and it may not live up to their specifications. Haman enters the room and asks for an explanation. What is this thing they've got working on out there? The girl says, it's called the Delphinium. It may look like an improvement, However, it's merely a mockery of what you're thinking of it to be. It's an imitation, if anything. Now, it's here that finally we get an explanation as to what the Storm Garden truly is, and it has to do with something simply called storm. The Titans were not an omnipresent force in the solar system. The Titans' job was to eliminate the Zeon remnants still lurking in the Earth sphere after the events of Operation Stardust. However, Storm was a smaller agency under the Federation's command whose job was to locate and eliminate the Zeon remnants of the asteroid belt beyond Mars. They were an expeditionary force whose job was to locate and destroy places like Axis and Ganymede. However, ever since Axis returned to the Earth sphere, the organization has been abandoned as well as its technology. Technology that was developed for them to combat such adversaries. And one of the things they've found, the thing Fiorina and Conchetta deem as the spear, is the Delphinium. Now, what exactly is it? The Delphinium is a successor to the Star Fortress Defense mobile weapons platform, Dendrobium. Yes, the Dendrobium. Even after the events of Stardust Memory, even after the Dendrobium was locked away and decommissioned along with the Albion, the technology of the Dendrobium lives on. This massive mobile weapon system was developed to imitate the power and destructive potential of the original Dendrobium Gundam, given to this smaller agency to field test and use as their means to attack Zeon remnant fortifications and other installations outside of the Earth sphere's jurisdiction. Now, the one thing that's immediately noticeable about this Dendrobium successor is the fact it doesn't use a Gundam Stamen to control it. Rather, it appears to use an old full armor Gundam. Now, I'm going to be quite clear with this, as it briefly gets mentioned but not fully elaborated on in the story. This full armor Gundam, for those who are extremely curious, is not precisely a full armor Gundam. The Delphinium was developed with cost-cutting tactics in mind. Thus, it does use a Gundam as its main control mechanism. Even though this unit appears to be one, it's not a full Gundam. It's actually just a regular GM, an RGM-79 that has been outfitted with full armor FSWS armor plates and a spare Gundam Alex-style head and armor face mask. Side note, I just love the fact that this little guy makes use of the Master Grade 2.0 Alex's armor face mask, cause this thing, despite being used in concept art, never saw use in 0080, and it's cool to see it being used by something else. Anywho, this massive machine, for all these years, now belongs to the remnants of Storm, who had allied themselves with Paptimus Scirocco during the Grips War, but they were ultimately never discovered by the Federation as they were an independent group. Which means, after all this time, the truth is given to us that these Titans remnants haven't entirely fully been Titans remnants. Ugh, this story pains me so. Why is it so complex? We cut back to our main story. How ironic. Do you think that time is testing him? Haman asks Fiorina if this Goliath truly works. Of course it does. However, at maximum efficiency, it will exert a vast majority of G's on the pilot. A wounded man won't last 10 minutes like you've suggested. Well, if he doesn't survive, I'll think of something. He's the kind of pilot that you are, isn't he? The massive Delphinium beginning to blast out of its moorings and racing towards the asteroid. On the bridge of the Yulong, Federica orders the crew. This ship will now move to tactical operations. Our mobile suit escorts will head out to target the mercenary ship, maintaining a diversion until Mastiff and his team can get in and secure the Fafnir. We must be bold. I will not allow any of you to die in vain. After we have the Fafnir, that is when our true battle begins. Now, let us begin! Operation Hornet Sting! Roxanne reluctantly gives the order to her crew. Nemos launch from the two ships as they race forward into the debris field. Mashero senses them, almost a dozen Nemos beginning to encircle them. Really? That's all you've got? That ain't much. What do you think you could possibly do with that amount of suits? They're launched so far into the field without their mothership. Wouldn't it be just suicide for them? What are you planning, Federica? No matter. I've got you in my hands now. He commands the Psycho Weapon. Psycho Flare! Do it! Burn them all! The massive structure blasts a wide ring of plasma across the debris field, scorching everything in its vicinity. A few Nemos are hit as the Orpheus's energy field attempts to pulverize them. The blinding light Raymond is awestruck. Incredible. This thing is beyond anything we fools could even dream of. The power, it's godlike. He compares it to the sun, a throne for which a god sits upon to judge all. A target lock, a sniper shot. The Over.ON dodges as Enardo appears and fires a pot shot at the Gundam as it sits motionless, the unit effortlessly evading. Damn it! How did he even see that? Mashero laughs. Maybe some other day, Goldie. He spots Enardo's Zaku 3 as the suit tries to relocate. What's wrong? You were going to try and kill me, weren't you? I won't make the same mistake. I gotta close the gap. There's no other way. The light from the Orpheus is too bright, though. It hinders his ability to shoot. We cut to the well cast. The captain is baffled. The enemy fleet survived that thing? How? The two Ayuk ships are still heading towards them. They had to have been damaged somehow by that thing. Why are they not retreating? As the captain relays his concerns, Raymond doesn't seem to care. He's lost it. He's completely enthralled in the majesty of this machine and its creator, spouting nonsense as they're without a proper defense plan. The captain gives the order to send out the rest of the Jim Grahams. The Nemos will be trouble, so don't underestimate them. Over with the Nemos, they don't know how to handle such a situation. The asteroid weapon is massive, and its destructive power is far too great. The pilots are not even sure how to fight it, themselves just being glad to see that the Golden Zaku took a shot at the Over.ON. It appears that Neo Zeon, at least for the moment, are acting to fight with them. At least for the moment, they're on their side. However, they can't bank on that info. They're still enemies regardless. The bridge gets the scans from the Zaku 3. It looks similar to the gold Zaku machinery they encountered all the way back at Olympus. Federica now starting to piece together who its pilot is. Her brother, Enardo. The bridge crew then sees the readings. The Zaku sniper had created an opening. Their forces are actually maintaining a formation against the weapon. Federica then gives the order to Jesse. This is their chance. We can send our team out now. The only problem, though, is Elise. She's vanished. Federica and the other officers look for her, the girl not trying to be found as she doesn't have to listen to anyone's orders. But as she tries to hide from them, she feels a pressure, a flash, the presence of another, something racing through the debris field. Mashero and Enardo sensing it too. Mashero doesn't see anything in the debris field, but nonetheless fires the Psycho Flare again, the massive beam cutting through the debris field with ease. Missiles. It fires a storm of them. Dozens of them, maybe even hundreds. The beam catching them and turning them to dust the moment they connect. Mashero looks up and immediately dodges two massive warship-sized megaparticle beam cannons that rip into the battlefield. The plasma beams smashing into the top of the Orpheus and cutting a massive hole through the structure's northern pole. So, you've finally arrived, says Enardo. And storming into the battlefield, as if resurrected from the dead, piloting the Delphinium with an injured eye and a battered body, Captain Fain Amadeo blasts into the carnage of the new battle. Hey, Scirocco! You know who I am, don't you? Mashero sneers, but is nonetheless impressed. He laughs. You want to take a shot at me with such an old piece of garbage? What a joke! You're gonna make me cry, Fain! You see, Mashero also knows this thing. The Delphinium. He knows that this suit was a waste of effort to build. He knows the Enclave sealed it away and abandoned it, and stowed it away to simply preserve the technology. It uses old warship gun batteries, no proper transformation mechanisms. It's a symbol of times long past. And time, at least from Mashero's perspective, is always moving forward, something old types would never understand. However, Fain, hearing his words, agrees. However, he knows Scirocco's time ended 2 years ago. He as well is something that time has abandoned. Ha! Then you better take your best shot! Mashero fires the Psycho Flare again, only for the Delphinium to raise the unit's integrated and massive arm-mounted eye-field generator. The beam fires and connects, only to be entirely repelled by the massive energy deflection shield. Volume 6 comes to an end with the Delphinium stunning Mashero as it shifts its body, parts of its form detaching and rearranging, the massive weapons platform with a GM inside of its core forming a massive suit of armor, with an eye-field generator for its arm and battleship cannons for the other, nearly taking the form of a massive Psycho Gundam. Alrighty, let's talk about this volume. As you've probably noticed, this is a pretty big reveal. The Orpheus, the Delphinium. It's a lot of stuff. However, we are still nowhere near the endgame. Yes, Neo Zeon found the Storm Garden, and yes, Mashero has activated Orpheus. However, we still aren't done yet. The Orpheus so far has been depicted as a massive Psychomu superweapon. Now, the laser isn't all it can do, but this is the first glimpse at what it is the Orpheus hides underneath its strange artificial shell. These massive beam weapons are merely its defensive systems. There's something else hiding out underneath this behemoth. I can't say what those things are for now. Nonetheless, this volume is one of those things where we can't really have any shenanigans occurring this early as well as this late in the game. And having Elise try to bail out on us just shows how desperate the heroes are to have some kind of advantage against Mashero. Cause I don't think you've noticed, but Mashero has gone full-blown Sith Lord. I mean, he's literally using a mini Death Star right now, and he's pretty much working to betray everyone else around him using his new type powers. Despite Raymond's ravings, you can tell Mashero's alliance with him is only a thing because he needs the mercenaries to protect him while he does his crazy new type superweapon shit. But so far, this is the point in the story where things get a little more, I guess, abstract. Cause this story so far has been a little difficult to keep up with, as I'm sure you must be aware. But as we get closer to the finale, it's going to get progressively harder. There will be a light at the end of this tunnel. Nonetheless, we're going to get there. Anyways, that'll be it for this video. Tune in next time where we dive into Volume 7 out of 10 with Gundam Walpurgis, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications to make sure you're caught up with my videos. Check out our Discord if you want to talk Gundam. And this is Gaius, signing off. Later.